There are over 7 billion people on Earth. Millions are born and die every year. Build. We destroy. We leave our mark. Cities rise, towers touch the sky, roads cut through mountains, but none of it will last given enough time. Every trace of us will disappear. Our tallest buildings, our deepest tunnels, even plastic Ganavan nuclear waste will fade. Everything we built can vanish. Oh, do we know we were the first? What if another advanced civilization lived before us? What if they built, thrived, and disappeared, leaving no trace? This is the Silurian hypothesis. Asks a simple but terrifying question. Could we be just one in a long cycle of forgotten civilizations? Find our humans think we're special. We tell ourselves we're the peak of evolution, first and only intelligent species to walk this planet, but history disagrees. Every great civilization believed they would last forever. Egyptians ruled for 3,000 years. To them, their pyramids had always been there, and always would. Bethan. They felt Mesopotamians, Indus Valley, Greeks, Romans, the Aztecs, Incasiac, lasted centuries each, built massive cities each, thought they were permanent, each disappeared, but these were recent. They existed in the last few thousand years. Earth is 45 billion years old. Modern humans have only been here for 100,000 years. Entire history. Just 2% of Earth's timeline. Thought leaves a lot of time before use, in a time for another intelligent species to rise, dominate, and vanish. So, if they existed, where's the proof? Most people think the past is easy to find with dig up find bones, piece together history, but that only works for recent historians. Oldest surface land on Earth is just 18 million years old. Everything older than that has been recycled by the planet. Tectonic plates shift, mountains rise and fall. Swallow continents. Time erases everything. Given fossils are rare. For something to fossilize, conditions have to be perfected. Needs hard body parts. It must be buried quickly. It needs pressure. It needs low oxygen. That almost never happens. Dinosaurs ruled for 180 million years. Trillions of them lived. Indeed, how many complete skeletons have we found? A few thousand. No, think about Uswav. Been here for only 100,000 years. What are the odds of us leaving a fossil record close to zero? No. Imagine another species lived millions of years ago. Would we find them? Probably not. If an advanced civilization lived before us, we wouldn't be looking for bones. We'd be looking for industrial waste, tech, O2 emissions, plastical isotopescence of technology. Even these fade. Plastic breaks down, metals, corrodesities, crumble. Living nuclear waste. Our longest lasting footprint is a half-life. Given enough time, it too will disappear. Earth cleans itself around millions of years. It wipes the slate clean. So, how do we prove a lost civilization existed? Scientists call it the Silurian hypothesis, named after reptilian beings from Dr. Hobart. This isn't sci-fi. Astrophysicist Adam Frank and NASA scientist Gavin Schmidt asked, could there have been an advanced species before humans? And if so, how would we find them? They looked at geochemical evidences. An ancient civilization had industry. It would leave chemical signatures in the soil, carbon spikes, and natural isotopicide layers in rock formations. Sounds simple, right? Just dig and check, but here's the problem. The Earth buries its pasties. Ages grind the surface into dust. Volcanoes cover land in Lapashons. Swallow cities who leave a civilization rose 10 million years. Agathia cities are already Ganavan. If they lasted as long as ancient Egypt, even if they had skyscrapers if they had patella time, would erase them. Sahara was once a Amazon was once a savanna. Antarctica was once tropical. The world we see today is not the world of the past. So, if another civilization lived millions of years ago, land they built on might not even exist anymore. Let's say they were as advanced as you, sir, even more advanced. They had cities. They had roads. They had matched as where buried. Gonforgan deeper we dig, the stranger things we find. Footprints in rock, millions of years, to old metal objects in coal deposits, oddly cut stones in ancient layers. These mistakes, or signs of something older than we can imagine. What if we're not the first? What if we're just another civilization, a planet that has seen many before? A cyclerist Threvical we next? Or worse, we already part of a repeating pattern, and what happens when it's our turn to be forgotten? If there was an advanced civilization before us, we'd expect to see some kind of evidence, but we don't, at least not Isoliso. Is the Silurian hypothesis just a wild theory? Or is it possible we're missing something huge? Let's go deepermost. People assume history is written in stone, thought we can just dig down and find the past, but the deeper we dig, the harder it gets. Oldest ocean floor is just 200 million years. Older, everything older has been swallowed by the earth. A civilization lived 1 billion years ago. The land they built on is gone, and even if we found something, how would we recognize it? Would we even know what to look for? When we imagine an ancient civilization, we picture cities like Orskriskriposhbeshek. What if they lived differently? Maybe they didn't build with steel and concrete, maybe their technology was bio-based, maybe they didn't even live on land. Assume intelligence means cities, but that's just human thinking. Dolphins have complex societies, they pass down knowledge, they communicate in ways we barely understand, but they build nothing. What if an intelligent species rose millions of years? Agabot never built anything we'd recognize. What if they lived in ways that left no trace? Would we ever find them? Or would we mistake them for just another extinct species? Maybe they reached space. If an advanced civilization existed, they might have left Earth, colonized the moon, sent probes to Mars. Would we recognize their technology if we saw it? NASA has found strange metal objects on the moonid, spikes of titanium, unusual high reflectivity areas. Are these just natural formations or something else? On Mars, the surface is covered in strange formations. Some look like ruins, some look artificial, most are just tricks of the eye. But what if we're not looking closely enough? If a past civilization reached the stars, would we even know? Or would their remains be lost in space, drifting forever, unnoticed? Even on Earth, we've found things that don't make sense. A spark plug embedded in 500,000-year-old rock metal spheres, with grooves found in layers 28 billion years old, traces of radioactive anomalies in ancient soil layer. These mistakes, misinterpretations, or are they whispers from a past we don't understand? The Silurian hypothesis doesn't claim an ancient civilization. Did exist? It only asks, if one did, how would we know? It forces us to rethink what history even means. Assume we're the first because we see no evidence of others. But the Earth is not a museum, does not keep records, does not preservate, erases. Deeper we dig, the more time has erased. The past is not just lost, it has been recycled. If we disappeared today, how long would it take for all evidence of us to vanish? 100 years. Our cities start to crumble. 1,000 years. Forests reclaim everything. 10,000 years. Skyscrapers are dust. 100,000 years. Only a few scattered ruins remain. 1 million years. Almost nothing. 10 million years. We were never here. A past civilization lived millions of years ago. They are already forgotten. 1 Daiso, will we Beatty Silurian hypothesis is not about proving a lost civilization existed. About opening our mindsets about reminds us we are not as permanent as we think, are not the masters of time. Are just another chapter in a book far older than we can imagine. Maybe we are the first, maybe we are alone, but maybe just maybe you are only the latest in a long forgotten cyclerized thriverfurl and over again, and in the end no one will remember. Think history is written that we know the past, that our knowledge is complete, but history is just a story we tell ourselves, a fragile puzzle with missing pieces. Assume we are the first Beckers. We see no others, but what if the others are just too far behind us or too far ahead? We imagine lost civilizations as reflections of Orsolvist aesthetic. What if intelligence doesn't need those things? What if it takes a different form? One we wouldn't even recognize. Take Octopusisti use Toolsti. Have individual personality, she have intelligence a bit. They do not build wit. If an intelligent species existed but never built anything, what if they lived in the oceans, or underground, or in ways beyond our understanding? Would we even know? Or would we call them just another species? We assume intelligence means progress technol to gain. Progress is not guaranteed, Semites, it stops. Coelacanth is a fish that hasn't changed in 400 million years, survived all 5 mass extinctions yet. If an intelligent species evolved but never advanced, what if they were content? What if they never needed machines? Would we ever see them in the fossil record? Or would they vanish with no trace? And then there's another possibility: if intelligence isn't biological at all. What if an ancient civilization created machines? What if those machines replaced them, and then left? What if the evidence we're looking for isn't on Earth? We assume an advanced species would stay home. But maybe they didn't, maybe they left, maybe the evidence of past civilizations sits buried underground, maybe it's floating Gorbenclust in Spacia maybites. Still watching US1, we look at the stars. We assume we're looking forward toward the future, but what if we're looking backward at civilizations that rose long before us? What if some of those civilizations start here? And long after we are going, what if someone else sees the same questions about us? The cycle repeats reciprocal and over again until nothing remains. Look for the past in all the wrong place. We dig in the dirt war, scan the oceans, study the stars, but what if the past is hidden in plain sight? Have you ever felt something watching? A presence you can't explain, a whisper in the wind, a shadow in the corner of your eye. What if that feeling isn't just your imagination? What if we're not alone just in space, not just in time, but in our own history? Ancient myths speak of gods and titans binds who came before USBO built great cities, only to vanish without a trace. Sumerians told of the Anunnaki, Greeks spoke of the golden Agith, Hindus wrote of cycles of creation and destruction spanning millions of years. Are these just stories or distant memories? What if our ancestors saw something? What if they remembered something that we've forgotten? Look at the ruins of the past Great Pyramids, the unfinished stones of Baalbekti precision of Puma Punku say. Humans built them, but how and why? What if these weren't the first ruins? What if they were built on the bones of something older? Something we can't even comprehend? What if history isn't a straight line but a loop? The further we look into the past, the more the past looks back at us. It is waiting just out of reach, a forgotten memory. Buried beneath time, its sylphaned one day Samaon will look for us the same way. Thee will dig through our ruins. Thee will ask the same question. She will wonder who we were and why we disappeared. Bess in the end. That is the fate of all civilizations. Trefishichet. Nothing remains, and then it all begins again. What if we are not at the beginning of history? Not even close. What if everything we know, everything we have built, everything we call happened before, not once and not twice, but many times, an endless cycle over and over again until even the memories are going to think about this. If an advanced civilization once ruled the earth, would they have left clues for us? A message? A warning? What if they died and we ignored it? The deeper we dig, the stranger the world become. Impossible artifacts, ruins, older than they should, bestiaries that speak of gods and giants, of wars that wiped out whole civilizations, of fire from the sky. Vedas describe weapons as powerful as the ancient Sumerians spoke of beings who engineered humanity. Myths appear across the world, always telling the same story. Great civilization Rosite reached to ferret was distraught. Then everything started again, but there's something else, a mething weirder pattern hidden in plain sight. Civilizations don't just collapse at the vanish and alwest the peak of their power. If it's not just time that erases them, what if it's something else? Something older than time itself? What if we are next? If we are not the first, fathers came before us. Then the most important question isn't who they were, it's why they're gone. Did they fall? Did they leave? Were they erased? And if so be, what? Maybe the end doesn't come with fire, maybe it doesn't come with war, maybe it comes when we get too close. One, we ask the wrong question, Shan. We remember something we were meant to forget. What if the past is watching us? What if it knows we are looking for it? And what if it doesn't want to be found? We were never. Alonatha's video version takes the Silurian hypothesis and turns it into something much darker, more mysterious, and deeply unsettled. Injit lingers in the mind, making the audience feel as if they've just uncovered a forbidden truth. Something they weren't supposed to know. It leaves them not just questioning history, but fearing. Ethos is the kind of video that doesn't just go viral, it haunts people. Let me know if you want it tweaked even further.